Hey, everybody, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 2 of our series, 5 ways to make sure you are maintaining lean body mass deep into prep. And we're going to talk about the nutrition side, turning away from training that we talked about in episode 1. And of course, we talk about this all the time, Adam, but it's having an appropriate calorie deficit. I was having a conversation with a client this morning, and she's 2.5 weeks away from a big show. And she just needed to know, like, what else can I do? What else can I do? Should I be doing more cardio? Should we drop calories? What should we do? And I said, in my opinion, you're already in 5th gear. And just at this point, going deeper and deeper, you're probably just going to start risking more muscle fullness and catabolism. And it's not going to help. Like we are doing as much as we can. We are in that aggressive sweet spot of an appropriate calorie deficit, including food intake and calorie expenditure. But you and I both work with clients who need to accelerate a little bit faster. Maybe they're behind. Maybe they've chosen contest dates that are a little too aggressive. But I'd be interested to know how much variance do you have? How much margin do you have when you're like, okay, this is how far we can go, and this is where it crosses a line, and it's just not going to be helpful?
Had a really good conversation with a client who's done many preps with me. Um, she wanted to do a 12-week prep, which would be about half of what we've ever done. And we technically need to lose about 24 pounds. So we would be really redlining it there. Anything beyond 2 pounds a week, I think, is really risky. Also, I think we would start up front with that pace and then struggle at the end. Everyone wants to prep shorter. And I see a lot of people prepping and sacrificing a lot of muscle tissue if they just taken the time to do it slower. So I often compare this to, if you can get to work in 15 minutes and it's 50 miles per hour, to do that, well, you could go 100 and cut the time in half, but you're probably going to get a ticket, and that ticket is the loss of muscle mass. And the bad thing about this is we never get a twin to diet to say this person does 24 weeks and this person does 12, and who's going to look the best at the end. You really want to be careful redlining those things. And there's a lot of different theories out there on too much cardio, too low of intake. It really comes down to the pace that you are losing versus one being too high or one being too low. I've even seen people blame exogenous supplementation, whether their coach put them on like T3 or clenbuterol. They said those things made me lose muscle. Well, if the pace of loss was too fast, yes, it did. But you could have still taken that and probably slowed down your pace of loss and been fine, not supporting using those things. But people often blame the product versus the pace, or they blame the macros versus the pace, which actually probably has a lot to do with the pace. But there's so many different variables that fall into pace that aren't inherently bad as long as pace is, modulated well.
Well, you bring up a point where I love the fact that you really never know. It's just completely unfalsifiable to say this is what we did. This would have been better. We didn't do the other thing, so you don't know. I have a client right now who, I mean, we won like in one season, like 3 different pro cards and pro titles, and he's just a phenomenal drug-free bodybuilder. And this year, starting prep, he was doing some math and looked at the calendar. He said, wow, like last time I was 10 pounds leaner at this time. And so we really need to pick up the pace. And I said, well, yes, obviously we do. But if we lose a little bit faster, and you don't have to diet as long, so you're losing more, but in a shorter period of time, the duration of dieting, I can't tell you you'll look worse. Like, we just have to try it. If you really want to do this first contest. I do think that for most people, pushing it too far is too aggressive. Like you said, if you go, too fast, then you might get that speeding ticket. You could also die in an accident, a car accident. And metabolically trying to get to that contest, I just never see it work out really well for people. They either feel just horrific, they don't look their best. I know as a pro bodybuilder that the couple contests I did that I was just way behind and really had to push it and diet harder, do more cardio. I was embarrassingly bad. I mean, just the amount of muscle fullness and the appearance of muscle loss I had was just tragic compared to taking my time, having a more appropriate calorie deficit. And I do think, oftentimes competitors have to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced fast diets, pre-bodybuilding. I'll never forget the first time I did Atkins, and I lost so much weight, but my God, I was so small after I did. So that was pretty crazy to see that happen.
Mm. Yeah. Well, hope you guys stay with us through the rest of the series. We're going to cover some more nuance in how to maintain the most lean body mass while you are in prep. We'll see you next time.